Welcome back to my car cave. While I'm waiting on some new stuff to come in, I thought I'd take a video of a model I've actually had for a while. Just have left it in the box. I haven't had a place to put it in my display. Anyways, it's as you can see, it's an Ayrton Senna 112 scale, big guy from Minichamps here. So it's a resin model. Comes in this nice matte finished box. Looks very much like Senna's helmet. Senna's autograph here. It's a little unwieldy to move around, so I'm not going to do that. But typical Minichamp stuff. This one's a little weird. The box, the styrofoam clamshell inside is much smaller than the actual box. So unfortunately, during shipping, it got damaged. It's the car's fine, but the box, however, looks a little bit worse for wear. Anyways, let's go ahead and open it, and we'll see what we got. Okay, now I've got it out of the box. As you can see, it comes in a standard styrofoam clamshell. You can see here where the clamshell broke. It's part of the reason the box got damaged. What you first notice is you get this base here. Get it out of the plastic. Anyways, it's a solid feels like plastic base. No holes in here, so the car doesn't screw on here. It just sits on here, I guess, once you finally display it out in the open. It does come with this little placard to remind you it's the Honda MP4 5B, Senna's 1990 championship car, 112 scale, handcrafted. Limited edition, number 49 of 350. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to screw it on there. It's there. I will say what I did when I first opened this, I didn't see this, which I was kind of surprised. I was looking for decals. They come with the Rothman's Williams car. Um, but I did not see any for this one. I was a little disappointed. I think it's because this is black and the base is also black. So I just completely didn't notice it the first time I opened this car. And sure enough, it does actually come with decals, some instructions. Here are the decals themselves. They're already pre-cut for the rear wing, which is kind of nice. I used to have to, or usually have to cut these, and it can often be a little bit tricky. But this is already pre-cut, so these are great. I like the decals. They help make the car look far more realistic, so I'm excited about finding that or discovering that. And then here's the car itself. As you can see, it's kind of a blank livery now, missing the marble. I don't think they ever ran the car with this blank liveries. When they ran a non-marble race or non-tobacco race, they kind of had that barcode logo on there. Anyways, but as you can see, it's a driver um, car, and we're going to go ahead and put the decals on, and we'll then take a closer look at the car and take it out of the clamshell. Okay, now we got the decals on. Let's go ahead and talk about the car. First off, my first impression is this is super heavy. It feels like one of the heaviest models I've ever had. I did go ahead and weigh it. It's like 3 pounds. The only thing I could think was heavier was that 112 scale long tail McLaren Le Mans car that was from Top Marquise that I sold a few months back. Anyway, so yeah, really, really shockingly heavy. Next, I would say like the paint. The paintwork looks amazing. It's super glossy. This Dayglow orange or Dayglow red. Yeah, I think it looks beautiful. Really stands out in person. Hopefully, it'll come out on the video. Looks amazing to me. Um, then let's see. Uh, Tires look great. I love this Goodyear print, the old school with a divided up, kind of templated or stenciled on Goodyear look. You can see the Brembo brake in there. You don't see the brake rotor per se. It's black. I think there's an opportunity to have um, photo etch there. And again, that kind of is always my overriding theme with 112th. It's an opportunity to have a lot more detail than say 118th. However, it's also an opportunity to disappoint. Sometimes it cuts both ways. Here, on this one, here's an example of these end plates. You got all these little adjustment holes right here for the wing adjustments. I think that's an opportunity where they take advantage of the size and they can add that kind of detail that they can't add on the 118th. But then, again, on the front wing here, just like with all Minichamps, it's a solid piece, which is kind of frustrating. There's no reason for something that big to be a solid piece. Same goes for the rear wing here. That's they use a decal to make the demarcation between the two wing planes. And at this scale, there's no reason not to have multiple parts. Um, but that said, there are other highlights that are great about this model. You do get some photo etching here. You get some photo etch rivet here, one here. But disappointingly, there's some opportunities here where there's a rivet here, a rivet here. You can see, as well as a rivet on the nose. That's on both sides of the car. This should have like either a black or just a silver photo etch part in it. There's no reason at this scale that you wouldn't have that. GPU Replica certainly does that, and Minichamps could do the same. You do get this carbon fiber decal in here. That's the typical striation carbon fiber decal, and that's correct with the cars. You don't get that on the 1/18 scale. Um, but then sorry, you also get it on the air or the brake ducts as well. You get this carbon fiber treatment. Kind of hard to see. Maybe I can get a photo of it for you. But then moving back here, you get a lot of these uh, little pinholes or black marks or rivets for the rear wing adjustments, and you can see that the different wing planes here. But again, like I said, it's one solid piece, which is kind of frustrating. This is solid black. This is solid black. I've tried to look online. I believe in the race trim, this was black. It's hard to believe this wasn't carbon fiber, but um, that said, it's it is black on here, and so not done with any carbon fiber decaling, but I can't find photos to suggest either way. Um, Here's the underside of the car. Again, you'll note here it says this is the Japanese Grand Prix. This is another missed opportunity. I think the same thing was on the Williams as well. There's no reason that this exhaust outlet couldn't be done with a photo etch part. I think these were really maybe gold in color or something like that in real life. This should absolutely be photo etched at this scale. There's no reason not to have that. Um, Also different from the 1/18 scale. They ran several different versions of this cover for the exhaust, or sorry, the radiator exit here. So at this particular race in Japan, they must have used this kind of hybrid mid cutout. Other races they had none of this panel was completely gone, and then on like the 1/18 scale, this is pretty much covered. And if I look online, that's pretty race specific and accurate to various races. And lastly, really the inside of the cockpit, that's where there's a lot more detail than there used to be. Many champs again using a kind of a plastic visor with a photo etch part here. Makes this look pretty realistic. They're not trying to attempt to have a driver face in there, so it's not see-through per se. And I don't want it to be. I think when that happens, it doesn't often come out right. Then the driver figure's got a nice seated position, nice stance. It's got fabric seat belts with photo etched belt and parts. The steering wheel and the dash are pretty basic. They're what you'd expect. These cars weren't super detailed back then. Um, but yeah, the driver's seat looks really good. It actually looks kind of porcelain. However, it's definitely plastic. It's just got a matte red finish to it. And then when you add the marble decals here, it looks pretty sharp. So overall, it's a really nice car. I'm glad to add it to my collection. I think we only need the 1991 championship in 112 to have all three of his title cars in 112 plus the Williams and the Lotus. So I'd like to add that someday, but we'll see if they make it or not. So while we were talking 112th, I thought I'd just kind of show you. This is an old school 112th. I don't know, this is the 88 McLaren. This is his first Senna championship. Does not come with the marble decals. This is a Tampo paint job. I've taken this kind of stuff off before, but it often ruins the finish. So I have not bothered to make this a marble version, although it would definitely look better. Um, Being die cast, it's actually a lot lighter than the other one is, so that was kind of surprising. You can see here, actually, they bothered to cut the wing planes back in the day, and same can be said for back here. You can see that the actual wing planes were different elements. So in McLaren, or sorry, Mini Champs has kind of regressed in that fashion or that manner. So I don't understand that. It's obviously at this scale, it would be super easy to do. Um, Yeah, but the wheels look pretty similar. I forgot. I guess they were making, these kind of nicer looking wheel nuts at this scale that they weren't doing it 1/18th at the time, so it always seemed like an improvement over the 1/18th. But they weren't having all this carbon fiber decaling that should have been here. Um, and no real photo etch parts. Again, to look at the driver figure here, this is all decal. It's all decal work. That's not photo etch. This is not plastic separate lens. This is just decaling. Um, and the driver figure is a standard Minichamps figure that's always in the same position, arms fully extended, top of the steering wheel. So just quintessential from the older days. Now you did get the photo etch on the seat belt and the fabric seat belt, although this section here looks like maybe it's plastic. Hard to say. Um, but the attempted rivets here, again, it's a decal. That said, the paint is not nearly as good. You can see an edge on the paint right here. It's not nearly as glossy or smooth or as bright relative to the newer one. So overall, it definitely improving in my mind on their 112 scale product. However, I just think there's more to be had, particularly this price range, and particularly with GP replicas coming out and doing similar products with similar pricing and more detail. So, anyways, hope you like the video. Hit like, hit subscribe. I've got some new stuff that just came in, so there'll be some new videos coming out shortly.